Right, welcome back to the channel everybody. Today we've got something a little bit different here. We've got a Fun Bikes electric pit bike. So I've actually got two of these to build. So what we're going to do now is we'll get the first one built and then I'll build the second one off camera. So let's get it all unboxed and see what's here involved to get it all built up. Right, so this is the actual contents that was in the box. You've got the charger at the back there. You've got a few nuts and bolts there. You get a little toolkit with it. Battery strap. You got your pin there for the front wheel. A handlebar cover. You got your front fairing. You got your mud guard, and you also get a packet of decal stickers. So that's what comes in the pack. And this is the main unit. I'll show you around. That's fully built like that in the box. That's just been lifted straight out. So there's not a lot to actually put together. So I say you do get a owner's manual with this. It does actually give you a bit by bit how it all goes together, but obviously you don't need that because that part's been done for you. So don't need to look at that. That's just telling you all the bits. So then you really want to come on to start on page 8, and it just tells you a bit here. Oh, it's a bit windy. I don't know if you can hear that wind, but there's a bit here what tells you what to do from when you're taking it out of the box, just making sure the power pack is not connected, which it isn't in this case. It tells you the tools are required, which it comes with there, but I'm going to be using a different set because I just prefer to use my own tools what I've got here. So first of all, it's telling us we want to assemble the handlebars on, and you have 4 bolts there and your top covers. So I'm just going to get them out now and we'll head over to the bike. Right, so as I say, you get your 4 bolts, but as you can see there, you've got 2 short ones and 2 long ones. The 2 short ones actually go in the top of the yoke, and the longer ones will be going in the bottom because they have to house the ignition barrel as well. So that's why they're longer. So what you do is you just centralise your handlebars up, and you get a short bolt. Just start that off by hand and just get your second cap and your second small bolt, and we'll just start them off. I say it's a H6, so you ain't got to go mad. And now we'll just bring up the ignition. It can only go in one way, that, so just get them tied in. So that's nice and simple. And then just after that, it's saying we need to put the mud guard on. So it's out with this screw here. And these, just to note, are a different size. These are a H5, not the H6. And you've got a couple under there you just need to wind out. And then you just push your mud guard up. And don't go mad with these, as I say, because you don't want to strip no threads, but you just want to get them all in first, lined up, before you even nip them all up. So that's the 2 under ones in, and that's that one in. So I will now just get the Allen key and just do them by hand. So that one's done. That one's done. and that's done. And what's next is your front number plate, which that's just held on by one screw. So just take your clear cover off. Again, it's the H5, and just bear in mind it has a little collar there. So you put the collar on, that collar goes behind your number plate, and then the bolt goes in. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just put the bolt through to start it. Just wind that through, and then we'll get the collar just on there like that. And just get that lined up, get your bolt in there, and that will find its way home. And that's that done. And we'll just nip that up. That's the front mudguard and your number plate on. Next step is getting the front wheel in. So let me just get the wheel and I'll come back to you. Right then, so it's actually a 17mm nut with a 14mm bolt on the opposite side. So the wheel can only go on one way because obviously you've got to get your disc in the caliper. It's just worth noting that you've got two little collars there. So you want to take both of them collars off because they're going to go either side of the wheel, acting as a bit of a spacer. So get your wheel, you just want to bring it in, get your once you get that through, you're winning. Well, it can be a bit fiddly on your own, as you just see there. So we can bash that through now. That's lovely. Just wind that on until it starts to bite on the other side, and then just get yourself a spanner just to hold that. Just nip that up, and while I've got this out, I'm just going to check the back one because I want to make sure it's done up properly if the kids are going on it. Yeah, it was pretty loose that, so it's just worth going around all the nuts and bolts and checking them yourself. But we possibly might have to undo that yet, because we might have to adjust the chain, because that chain feels a bit slack for my liking. So that's the front wheel all on, and we're going to have to adjust that brake because that's rubbing on them calipers, on them pads. So hopefully, if we take it out this vice, yeah, them brakes are well solid. Right, so next up, what we've got to do is we've got to put this shock, lift the back end of the bike up. But what I need to do is there's a bracket up here, I need to get this sat in the bracket and then push the bolt through. So I don't know where you can see that, if you can see it at all. So that's the bolt we've just put in, and I've just got a nut to put on the back of it, and this is a 10mm, so I'll just get that zipped up and I'll come back to you. Right then, so now I've put that shock in and it's lifted the back end of the frame up, that's actually tightened that chain up, and I think that's actually too tight, so I'm going to actually loosen that a bit now, because with it being too tight it's going to put a bit of stress on the motor. So you just want to have a dip in it, but that's solid, that is. So what I'm going to do now is quickly adjust this and pull the wheel in forward a bit. Well, I've actually adjusted that chain. You can't really see it well here, but there's just a nice little bit of slack on there now, so it's not as tight. It shouldn't put a lot of strain on the motor. And what you actually do is you loosen these nuts at the back here, and then you obviously undo your main bolt all the way through both sides. You get your wheel where you want it, you nip it up, and these are just adjusters, but you want to make sure that you've got the even amount of thread on either side just to keep your wheel straight. So yeah, that's pretty much the bike made now. So it's just a matter of sticking the decals on and getting the battery on charge, and it's good to go. But I will, before I finish up, I will go around all the nuts and bolts just to make sure everything is how I want it, 100% tight. So let's get some stickers put on. Right then, so before I actually stick any stickers on, I'm just going to go around it with a bit of panel wipe, get all the crap off and make sure we're working with a clean surface. So get all the dust off and the moisture, and it will just give us a nice panel to work with. Bit of polystyrene on there, that will come off. So, right, I reckon we're ready to do the stickers now. So I will put you on a bit of time lapse for that. Right then, so that's this side of the bike stickered up. I'm going to quickly run around and do the other side. I won't bore you with that. So I'll get the other side stickers done, and then it's a matter of we'll plug the power in to see if it will move. I'm sure there'll be a bit of life in the battery. So let me just get the other side stickers done, and I'll come back to you. Right then, so the battery pack's actually here, and you have a 3-pin plug that actually just plugs into the battery, and that should now have the bike live. And just to make you aware, you've got your ignition keys up here, so you're on and off, but you also get a set of keys for the parent, just to go in here, and it goes in a certain way, and you can actually adjust the speed setting. So I think that's low, high, medium, and I think on the low it's about 5 miles an hour the bike will go, medium was about 10, and I think high it goes about 15-16 miles an hour, and that's obviously depending on the weight of the person that it's carrying. So it's all plugged in. I'm just going to drop the table down now. So I'll just bring you in there, and we'll just turn the ignition on, and we'll see if we've got any power. So ignition on. Right, so it's actually reading we've got a full battery in there, so that's nice, but I will give it a good charge anyway before I've let anyone go on it. So in theory, with that on, I'll just undo this. We'll put the bike on its side stand. And I'll just bring you over here, and hopefully now if I just tilt the bike and it's so we've got the ignition on. So there we go, look. and that's on low speed. That's low, and that's high. So it has got a good bit of a power there, and just medium, and then that's your high. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So just turn that off, turn the ignition off, and I'll just give you another quick little look around it. That's the Fun Bikes MXR50. Nice little project put together there. It can be done with one person, as you've just seen. Well, it was a bit fiddly on the front there, getting the disc lined up in the bolt. So it would be handy to have two people just for that bit, but it can be done, as you've just seen, with one person. Right then, so I'm going to leave that here for this little one. I think that we've got everything covered there. Straightforward little process to do. You ain't got to be a mechanic to do this. Your own home DIY would be able to get past and do this yourself. They do supply with the toolkit, as I say, but I just prefer using my own tools. But if you haven't got your toolkit, you've got one that come in with it, and the manual is pretty easy to understand. So I'm going to leave it here for this one, and until next time, we'll see you about.